Hey YouTube fam, welcome back to my channel. It's Sophia and I'm so glad that you are here, that you decided to stop by once again. Thank you for subscribing to my channel, and if you haven't, make sure that before you click off, you hit that subscribe button so that you can come along this journey. Once again, if you haven't purchased I Know Who I Am children's book, please make sure that you go out to do it. I am the author of this amazing book, all about self-esteem building, all about, positive affirmations, and all about empowering youth to know the truth of who they are. So if you haven't purchased it yet, please make sure that you do. You can visit my website. It's also available online through Amazon, Barnes and Nobles, and Walmart. So, why are we here today? What are we talking about? I want to talk about why I wrote I Know Who I Am. And honestly, I could go down a whole rabbit hole about all the different things that brought us to this point, but those videos will come separately one by one. But I want to talk about my main inspiration behind writing I Know Who I Am, and it was my oldest son. He is just the sweetest thing, but he's also very, black and white and very, I need to have the last say, and just, he's the oldest. And of course, I'm like, oh my gosh, you made me a mom. But then, they also say that there's also a lot of pressure on being the oldest child, because with being the oldest comes responsibilities and, more expectations and all of the things that I guess the oldest child has been through. So if you have children that have said that, believe me, Dominic has said the same thing to me. But Dominic, genuinely, from a young age, just seemed to be worried about things, anxious about things, things that seemed small or minute to other kids probably was like a big deal for him. And there were definitely reasons for that. As I mentioned before, I've had children with significant medical health issues. I have 2 children that have gone through bone marrow transplants, and I will talk about that at another time. But these are some of the traumas that he's actually endured, that he's partake in, and I don't want to minimize what he has gone through or even try to, paint a picture from his lens. But I remember being like, oh my goodness, like, what is going on here? And I remember just talking to his pediatrician, and she was like, Sophia, Dominic might be a little bit more anxious than, we're realizing. And it might come off as frustration, but it's honestly, if we think about the things that he's been through, walked through, seen, it's kind of hard. And, these are at a young age. So, did what we were supposed to do. He is connected through the Not Us organization with Isaiah Jasmine. And, we've gotten all of these different services in place for him. But one thing that really stuck out to me was that he used to engage in a lot of negative self-talk. It was very easy for him to be able to say something negative in relation to himself rather than something positive. And that would always confuse me, because we don't talk like that in our household. And I'd be like, well, you're so smart, or you're this and you're that. And it was like, okay, tell me 3 things about yourself that you like, or tell me 3 things that are positive about yourself. And it was like pulling teeth. And that used to make me so sad, because I'm just like, why are you not seeing yourself the way that I see you? Like, you are fearfully and wonderfully made. You can do all things through Christ who strengthens you. Like, you are, the apple of God's eye. Like, you put a smile on our faces. You can make me laugh. Like, why is it that you can see the good in everybody else, but you can't see it in you? And as a mother, it really, really, really used to bother me. And so I was like, okay, you know what? Like I said, got him set up and with the life coach, and we're making sure that We are doing what we have to do with him, speaking life into him. Every time he would say something negative, I'd counter it with, nope, you just said something negative, so now I need you to tell me something positive. And I'm pretty sure he was like, oh my gosh, this woman's being so annoying. But I needed to change his train of thought. I needed to change the trajectory because the negative came so easily and the positive was hard. So I was like, no, we're going to tackle this and we are going to address this. So, work in progress. We've been doing this for like a few years. But honestly, fast forward, we're at Bible study. Well, I'm at Bible study, not the kids. I'm at Bible study, and it's the first Sunday of, not Sunday, what am I saying? It is the first Friday of the year, the first Bible study at the year, and we're talking about Proverbs 31. And it's funny because you're always hearing someone saying, oh, I'm a Proverbs 31 woman. I'm a Proverbs 31 woman. I'm a Proverbs 31 woman. I'm a good thing. And it's like when we actually really started going through Proverbs 31, I was like, do we really know what a Proverbs 31 woman is? So I grabbed my Bible and I just want to read it, or some of the characteristics of what we say a Proverbs 31 woman is. So bear with me, guys. Okay, the virtuous wife. Who can find a virtuous wife? For her worth is far above rubies. The heart of her husband safely trusts her, so he will have no lack of gain. She does him good and not evil all the days of her life. She seeks wool and flax and willingly works with her hands. She is like the merchant ship. She brings her food from afar. She also rises while it is night and provides food for her household and portion for her maidservants. She considers a field and buys it. From her profits, she plants a vineyard. She girds herself with strength and strengthens her arms. She perceives that merchandise is good and her lamp does not go out at night. She stretches out her hands to the distaff and her hand holds the spindle. She extends her hands to the poor. Yes, she reaches out her hands to the needy. She is not afraid of snow for her household, for all her household is clothed with scarlet. She makes tapestry for herself. Her clothing is fine linen and purple. Her husband is known in the gates when he sits in the elders of the land. She makes linen garments and sells them. She supplies sashes for the merchants. Strength and honor are her clothing. She shall rejoice in time to come. She opens her mouth with wisdom, and on her tongue is the law of kindness. She watches over the ways of her household and does not eat to the bread of idleness. Her children rise up and call her blessed. Her husband also, and he praises her. Many daughters have done well, but you excel them all. Charm is deceitful and beauty is passing, but a woman who fears the Lord, she shall be praised. Give her of the fruit of her hands and let her own works praise her in the gates. Amen. So when you start going through and through and through, this woman, she's not lazy. She's an entrepreneur. She gets up early. She is doing all of these things to make sure her house is blessed, her husband's all set, and her children are blessed. And as we started to go through it, I was like, oh my gosh, like there are a lot of qualifications for these things to be really a virtuous wife, a virtuous woman. And then we talked about, what do you have in your hands? What do you have? Like there is a skill, there is a desire that you have that the Lord has put in you that is going to benefit your family. Are you sitting on your talent? Are you sitting on an idea or a desire that God gave you and not doing anything with it? And it was like a fire lit underneath my butt. It was crazy. And I left there just being like, oh my gosh, pure Holy Spirit, I need to write this book. This is what I am seeing at home. And I'm pretty sure that there are lots of kids that are, going through the same thing, or parents. And I am going to use this situation to inspire other kids. And last year, my oldest transitioned to a different school. And before, he used to go to a small private Christian school and it was great. But this year, well, not this year, but the year that he transitioned, he was actually going to be going to a charter school. And so, the transition was a little bit difficult for him, but he also encountered just some kids that were really, really nice. And he encountered some kids that were really, really mean. And, I had reached out to teachers, and, I also made sure that I let him know, the truth and how to make sure that he defended himself and to not internalize the things that were happening. But one day he came home, he got off the bus, I picked him up, and he's like, "Mommy, so and so said to me today that I am a mistake." And I was like, "What?" And he was like, "Yeah, he said to me that I was a mistake." And I said, "But that's not true, right?" And he's like, "I know that that's not true, but it still hurt." And in my mind, I'm thinking like, oh my gosh, first of all, like, how does a kid know to go and tell another kid that you are a mistake? Like, what is happening right now? And I was so upset, but I took it as an opportunity to, once again, pray over Dominic, let him, we uproot those kinds of seeds. We don't allow seeds like that to be planted, but at the same time, to be able to affirm him and remind him, this is exactly why we're doing this book, because there are going to be kids that are going to go and tell another child, this is who you are, this is what it is, and they can stand and say, no, I am not. I know who I am not a mistake, and that there are plans for my life, and they are good plans and not bad plans. So, from that point on, just little bits and pieces, like I said, here and there throughout his life, throughout our own experiences, that really pushed me to do this book. The real push, I want to say, even though the desire was there, I want to say was genuinely between like New Year's Eve service and then our first Bible study service on that Friday night. It was just like a smooth transition. We were told, like, if God has given you something, whether, you're stepping out on faith, you don't have any experience in this area, just do it and he will lead you through the way. And I can say that this book is a testimony of that, because I knew I was going to write a book. I didn't know how I was going to start it. I didn't know where I was going to go or the process or anything like that. But by going out on faith that same night, I started just getting ideas, and okay, we're doing affirmations, and what was the vision, and here we have it now. So like I said, that is the inspiration. The inspiration just comes from a place of just really countering negative self-talk and taking an experience that was meant for harm and using it as an experience to inspire other children and their family. So, hope you are blessed.